as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff visited Hostages Square in Tel Aviv on Friday, where families of hostages held in Gaza have set up a symbolic barbed wire camp. Witkoff was reportedly greeted with applause by many of the demonstrators gathered in the square. This comes after Witkoff met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for Gaza truce talks and to tackle the humanitarian crisis in the Gaza enclave, where reportedly a global hunger monitor has warned that famine is unfolding. Now we're joined by Matti Zweig. He's a geopolitical expert, joins us live from Israel. Thank you, Matti, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, how significant is the U.S. diplomatic role in pushing for Gaza truce?
Well, I think it's very significant because at this moment of the conflict, it's clear that among other things that they are part of this conflict, the humanitarian aid, it's a big part of it. It means who is delivering, how is delivering, and if it's really reaching the people that need this food. I'm not going to enter now in the discussion of the photos in the media, if they are real or not. We have discussed this in the past days. I think personally that most of them are not for real, but what is for real is there is a real conflict that must be stopped. And what is going to be stopped also is the possibility of Hamas, jihadist terrorist organization, to try to get in possession of these goods and stealing them and reselling them. So that's what this real conflict made Donald Trump did a U-turn in his relation also with Netanyahu and said that there is a real need for more aid, and he sent Witkoff also with the U.S. ambassador in Israel, Mike Huckabee. They have been yesterday in the southern part of Gaza, in Rafah, which is one of the main points of distributing this aid by the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They have 3 in all of Gaza. They say it's not enough. I am sure that it's not enough. They have seen for themselves. They have been 5 hours there, and they say that there's a real need to give more food and more possibilities for the people to get to the food without being harmed. And this question about being harmed of getting the food, this is a big question because soldiers, many times they felt threatened by all kinds of people that make incidents, then part of them of Hamas, and many people was killed. This is really unfortunate, but this is part of the conflict. People is trying to get feed in the middle of this conflict. And at least the Israeli side with the GHF and other privates, the people are trying to give some real solution. Now, today Witkoff is also with the Israeli side. I mean, he went to visit the square of the hostages, where of course the families and the parents of these poor people in the tunnels of Hamas are trying to get some solution. And we have seen also in the conversations in Qatar that there was no solution. I mean, from one reason or another, Hamas don't want to free the hostages because they feel in this way they are going to completely lose maybe this war and get dismantled. So they are keeping them, and then this situation continues and is going on and on. And I suppose that now the mechanism to get him feed the population there are going to be better, but the roots of these problems, if they are not going to get a solution to finalize all the fightings and get back all the hostages or continue fighting, these are the 2 possibilities in this moment. It's very sad, and this is what is happening now.
And Matti, can you tell us that what challenges U.S. faces in navigating both Israeli as well as Palestinian interests?
Look, the interest is to give peace a chance and to feed the people also for not mixing the non-involved people in the middle of the conflict. We have to understand that thousands of fighters or terrorists from Hamas have been killed, and they have recruited new, I would say, children, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, thousands of them that they have, unfortunately, nothing to lose in their files, and they are part of a new effort of continuing combating the IDF. And US, in his will of making peace, real peace, because it's good for Trump to make commerce wars, but not real wars with bullets and cannons and planes. So this is his approach, and it's very good, but it's not happening, not in this area of the world, also not between Russia and Ukraine, because the interests are much bigger than only trying to feed people. And this is unfortunately, and they should put amount of pressure, not only on Israel, that this is understandable, everybody is under pressure now in Europe too, but also to Hamas. And one other thing I would like to say, that all this effort from European countries to say, if they are going to have a finalization of these fightings and getting some kind of ceasefire and continuing a normal life, we will recognize the state of Palestine, which is to give a price to terrorism and to the forces that they are not in the interest of the Palestinians. The Palestinians, they can have genuine interests, but they cannot be interests of a jihadist group that only wants to destroy everything and overcome over even their own population.
Thank you, Maddie, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. Russia's defense ministry says its forces have captured